Hey, so I'm really excited about the Boots to Suits program. I mean, when I transitioned out, we didn't have as many, resources, apps, nonprofits, et cetera. So being able to help transitioning military personnel, segue or transition from active duty to really having a career, a job, all that is tremendous. So really excited about the Boots to Suits program. The skill bridge entities and organizations that are helping, I think, are dope.
I think my biggest thing for me is just I've been through a lot of programs, and as I transitioned, I wanted to do a lot of things, but it always felt like there was a puzzle piece missing. To where with what we're doing and what we're looking at, it's encompassing everything to support that veteran, to support his career, his family, his transition into civilian life. So that's what
It's huge.
I look at it.
That's value, man. I mean, really, those when you think about how we're mitigating all these issues of revenue, right? If they come out and they have their disability rating already set up, now they have a potential to have a career, and so that whole transition being as efficient and the value that you're alluding to, I think is tremendous. What do you think, Doc?
I think the importance of the Booster Suit program is the transition and how we have it set up, that it's vets for vets. It's actually vets that walk in their shoes that are going to be teaching them how to become real estate agents and how to function in society. The biggest part of my transition was that downtime when I transitioned out and losing my self-worth. Being a chief and then coming to not wearing a uniform is where people start to get sad and depressed. But by this program and the program being ran by vets, it allows them to go right from active duty right into a career opportunity to keep them busy and also to maintain their family life.
I love that. Yeah, and anybody that served in the military knows that we can take a tough situation. We can joke about just about anything, even the most serious. But having that culture, being able to have that comfort zone, as you mentioned, where we speak the same language, we have the same values. We honor the country, we honor the military branches that we served in, we honor the brothers and sisters that wore the uniform, and now we're able to have all this together in a professional setting and make a great living and helping others at the same time. I think is unbelievable, man. I'm with you on that 100%. For me, it was just difficult. I came out and, well, like I said, I'm the older guy now. We didn't have a lot of those resources, and so it was. I'll be honest, it was hell, and I didn't even have a family at the time. My first gig was I was a telemarketer. I worked at Security Pacific before I became Bank of America, so I'm really dating myself now. But it was survival, man. Took my sea bag, put it right on my front doorstep. Didn't even really settle in. Went to community college right away and had to start making some money. There was no disability ratings. Our SEPs, our 1 week SEPs classes were just, here's what you need to do, and they kind of dished out information. I had a short timer's attitude and mindset anyway, so I really wasn't even paying attention. I just wanted to kind of get back into the regular world, eat regular food, and sleep in my bed. But I think what we're doing is a tremendous thing, and the roles that you're playing are hugely valued. So that's the Boots to Suits program. We have another area of Boots to Suits. It's not just transitioning military, but it's also for veterans and also spouses of the military. So there's veterans that have already been out for many years. Maybe they want a second career, or maybe they want a change of career. We're now real estate and investing, building some net wealth and some revenue. We have an opportunity to help that segment of the market as well. What do y'all think about that? The ones that have already served and now they're civilians that are.
I think the ones that already served are already going to have the transition period done. They've already gone through their ups and downs. The key point now in Boosted Suits and teaching them is going to be the ups and downs. Like, this is a hustle. Like, this is not a job, it's a hustle. It's based on the effort you put in. And if you're not happy with that effort, you need to put more in. Mm-hmm. If you're not happy with the results, you need to put in more effort. Sure. And the military members and the aspect of them being disciplined and having to be able to grind and know what they need to do is going to be key to this industry, because they already have the work ethic and the leadership behind them because they've learned it in the military.
100%. Yeah, a lot of our brothers and sisters I know initially, in my case and yours, I'm sure, we would automatically go into law enforcement or something that had more of a regimented way of thinking. Now we're going into entrepreneurialism, owning our own business, doing real estate, investing. To me, it's exciting opportunities. I mean, it really is. 25 years ago, there weren't as many veterans in the real estate field. So, I was in corporate America for a while, and then I transitioned into real estate. Now, whether they've been out for a year or they've been out for 20 years, I think we have a motto now that can help assist them as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. What do you think, Herbert?
I'm definitely excited. I think that there's just a lot more now than obviously during your time and the times before. I know for me that was a big thing. I transitioned out, kind of jumped around, tried different things because I knew my retirement covered my bills. So this gives me an opportunity to find what I want to do. The real estate brings in money, and then now doing this, it allows me to work with vets. So ultimately, I'm back in my niche. I'm back being comfortable. I'm not forced to only have these options because of my time served. And now I can be amongst brothers and enjoy my day. Kind of like when I was still active duty. I still get to mess around. I still have to have a good time. And then we also have business versus the veteran I was at one point, sitting at home and kind of dealing with those combat issues that were going on.
Correct, yeah, and it's interesting you said that, because a lot of times we don't like to talk about that downtime. We don't like to talk about issues, related to PTSD or just, like you said, feeling, valued, having 3 square meals and, rack, to like, now you got to figure it out. So now you're in the, what they call the real world, and now you got to figure it out. Sometimes, honestly, I felt like being in combat theaters of operation was simpler.
100% agreed.
I'll go to the supermarket now and I'll look at the frozen food section and I'm like, why do I need 1,000 different ice creams? Like, I just want one ice cream and just chocolate. Boom, there it is. And now, so I almost felt like it was simpler just, being in theater where you just have to watch that, that Marine to your left and that Marine to your right, and, and get the mission accomplished on the daily, So I think now with everything that's going on, things are so complicated. The economy's in disarray. I'm super excited with the fact that we have an opportunity now to help the men and women that wore the uniform achieve a better quality of life and make some sense out of all the madness that we're seeing right now.
I mean, these service members have a great opportunity to be above average compared to being average, like getting out, retiring, and working at Home Depot or Lowe's. We're giving these service members an opportunity to change their life and change their life for their family members in the best way, to where they don't have to be financial dependent on a 9-to-5 job. They can go do the things that they want. They can go do and travel anywhere they want to go, and it's their right. They fought for their freedoms, and now it's time for them to actually live for the freedoms that they fought for.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I agree with that. What do you think about that? I mean, sometimes we're very humble, right? We don't like to say, we did A, B, and C, and, so we should get, D, E, and F. It's sort of just, we accomplish the mission, we move on to the next mission, next mission. And then when you look at, somebody's chest when they're wearing their uniform, you realize all the stuff that they did, and you're like, wow, that's it. But civilians don't understand a lot of that stuff, So I always say we go from freshman to senior and then back to freshman again. Like, you have to start over every time you cycle through, right? So you achieve a certain rank or a certain level of responsibility, you get out of the military, hey, you're back to private or PFC or what have you. But that's what we're in a position with Boots to Suits, and also EJ Homes now to create to continue with that culture of collaboration and teamwork and mission accomplishment and helping people in the process. The other thing is, I love the fact that we're able to interface and work and collaborate with other organizations, other nonprofits. We talked to Save the Brave, the amazing nonprofit organization that helps warriors with fishing, helps mitigate issues of PTA through their fishing program. And there's a lot of, there's Harley Davidson riders, there's surfing, there's Dog for Warriors, things that I know you have history in as well. But I'm excited because now we're in the fight again. We're not, like you said, we're not sitting back watching things happen anymore. Now we're back in the trenches, but in a different way, but still in the trenches, still fighting the good fight. I love that.
I would say they're still in the trenches, but they're in the trenches in a different way, like you said, because now the trenches is going to involve their family, because this opportunity that we're giving them, they're the first sergeant, they're the sergeant major. You control your own schedule. If you want to go to your kid's school to volunteer, go to your kid's school and volunteer. Yep. Now is the opportunity for you to be able to make money, but still be the family man that you wanted to be, but that you couldn't be when you were active duty.
100%.
The time to make up for all that time lost, being in the field, being deployed. This is that time.
I mean, how many times were you training or deployed where you miss things out, miss things that your children were going through or experiencing, that we wish we could have been a part of. Now to your point, we can have that balance and still make a great living in the process. I think it's fantastic.
And giving them the support that they need to be successful.
100%. Yeah, and then so you make another good point too. Is studies show? I'll speak specifically about home ownership. Right? They show that if you are a homeowner and you value that as part of your life, that your children are more likely to also become homeowners and realize that the benefits and the dream of home ownership. For me, that's huge, because I grew up in a very poor area. Riverside was called Rubidoux, California. It's not even there anymore. But back then, the majority of people in my community were renters at the time. you know. And so the fact that my dad, who served in Vietnam, he did 2 tours in Vietnam, even though they were divorced, he still found a program that allowed my mom and my sister and I to grow up in a home that my mom actually owned. And so I remember growing up, and my mom would always reinforce the value of home ownership, where a lot of my friends that I was growing up with, they were renting. And it doesn't mean that they weren't able to buy as they got older, but studies show that you're more likely to be a homeowner if you grow up in a household where they own the home as well. So from that legacy standpoint to the next generation, I think that's huge for what we're doing as well. Fantastic.
I mean, the Boosted Suits program is is the best program because you have combat vets that are going to be working with veterans. There's no other organization, or other team, or other company that has that, and we know what is involved in all that, and how to check the Marine or the service members, and how to make sure everything is going smooth with them, and also being able to teach them and provide them knowledge and a skill set to where they're going to be very successful.
I love that. So we spoke a little bit earlier about the how valuable it is to have that veteran or military helping military, veteran helping veteran model. There's a sense of comfort. There's a sense of relatability. Speak a little bit to that as well.
You're on that road together. I mean, like I said, before jumping into this, I was in the dog world. That's how me and him became friends. I trained his dog, and then years later, that relationship, that friendship has turned into us being here, partnering to help our fellow brothers and sisters, and then that'll in turn continue to build that legacy.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm honored, honestly, because like I said, when I segued out or I transitioned out of the military, there weren't as many. I'm sure they existed. We just didn't, proactively say, I served in the military. We had to organically find each other and kind of figure out how we could help one another out. Now it's out there. I love it. Bring it on.
I mean, you got the NCOs, you have the staff NCOs, you have the officers, and basically everyone trains everybody in the military, right? So basically now is our way to pay it forward. Now we're paying it back to our brothers and sisters that are getting out, because we've been in this industry for a minute. We know what it takes, and now we can go ahead and pay back to our service members and be like, here's a different opportunity that you can have, but still have a great life, but still be a family member of your family.
100%. It's amazing how sometimes we take for granted, how valuable time is sometimes, and, obviously we're in theater, so we had to handle priority number one was that mission, obviously, and that deployment or, that campaign. And, but then when we reflect back, right, dang, man, I missed a lot of good years and a lot of good memories. Even though, we might have got photos or letters, it just wasn't the same as being there. So being able to balance that schedule, right, with family, I think it's tremendous.
Especially when you have your own, you're in charge of your own schedule. No one's going to tell you what you have to do. You know what you have to do to be successful. You know when you have to go show homes, and you plan it around your family schedule.
That's perfect. Yeah. So say a little something about the time blocking component of the Boots to Suits program then.
So the time blocking component basically is going to be taught how to balance your schedule, and you're going to set up time blocks for prospecting, time blocks for white space. I have time blocks on my time blocks. That's family time. I know that this afternoon my daughter has lessons. It's time blocked into my time block that I'm spending time with my daughter at her lessons. Mm-hmm. And then right after her lessons, I go back right into prospecting.
Yeah. How about you, Herbert? What do you think
Same
about
thing with my son. He plays club soccer, which is on the weekends can be pretty intense.
Yeah.
Because they got a lot of games and they're not around the corner. So sometimes I just have to be able to schedule certain things or plan it to where my wife is going to drive with him and I take my bike because I got to get back to jump on what I got going on. Mm-hmm. So it's a way that I can still accomplish both missions, provide for my family, and be the dad I've always wanted to be versus, we know how it is being active duty. It's a little different.
But the key thing in that too is that we're all vets, we're all service members, we all know what each other's been through. There's times where I can't go and show homes on a weekend because I'm a coach and I got to turn in with my daughter. There's times where I'll hit up her, like, hey, what are you doing this weekend?
Sure.
Can you go show this home for me? Or can you go stand this home inspection for me? And he'll say yes. And it's just us working together. But he knows that I'm doing it for family time. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have anything planned, so he'll help me out and vice versa.
100%.
And that's like the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the military. We're taking everything that we learned in our leadership and our customs and courtesies and now applying it to the civilian world to make a better team of all vets.
I love that. When you say, I got your back, but I'm watching your six. That's what we mean. And the other thing, if we look at, our code, whether it's Semper Fidelis or just the overall code of loyalty, that does not expire just because our active duty career expires. Like I've always believed that we need to transition that mindset and those values into the civilian sector, which is what we've been able to do. And now with Boots to Suits, we're able to do it even on a larger scale because there's nothing to prevent us just to Cali. I mean, it could literally be nationwide. I know we're focused right now on the SoCal markets. But for all intents and purposes, this model can be scaled, nationwide to help as many transitioning militaries as possible throughout the entire nation. It's exciting.
Even vets that, have got out, they've been dabbling with school, they've been dabbling with other jobs, and, they have an interest in real estate. Now's your time to step up into this business and let's go.
I love that. And I'll tell you right now, they have years and years of mentoring opportunities as well. So they're not coming into an industry where like we had to just kind of figure things out for all intents and purposes. They're coming in with a navigation tool or a template already in place that they, replicate, maybe make it better, but they have something that they can work with from the onset of that transition. They're not having to reinvent the wheel. I love it. It's huge.
And it's also in a way that they can understand because it just transitions what they've already known. It's just a roadmap, just like you had in the military. You want to make it to E9, you got to go to these schools, you got to do these MCIs and work your way up. Same thing. Here's the route to success. Just follow the path.
It's a great point too, because with the boots to suits, there's phases. We talked about the phases as well. So you have that phase one, that beginning phase. You even have a precursor, which is our orientation video to let people know what the expectations and what they can expect right off the bat. So they can determine from the onset of even thinking about being a boots to suits candidate or participant, they can say, well, I saw this video, that's for me, or you know what, maybe it's not for me. And then when they get accepted into the program now through phase one, they're developing these skill sets and knowledge and all that. Then there's a practical application component to as well. Talk a little bit about how important that dynamic is because it's critical in the military. We have our theory and then our practical application on how we apply that theory to make us as lethal and effective as possible.
I would say Boosted Suits, the way we set it up, is almost like MOS school. It's basically an MOS school. You're getting class, you're getting practical application, and then you're getting real life scenarios. And there's no other program that teaches it because you can go and take your real estate online course, your 56 hours, take your 3 tests, apply for your license, take the test and pass, but you don't know how to be a licensed. They don't talk about contracts. They don't talk about anything in the licensing program. We're going to teach a person who's never been in the real estate industry from day one, and by the time they're done with us, they will be able to function as a real estate agent in any brokerage in Southern California.
Amazing. And be successful. What do you think of that model?
I think it's awesome. For me, the big thing is they're able to function, they're able to operate on their own, but they also have the support with everything else that goes into this life, the ups and downs, the peaks when you do have clients, when you don't have
Sure.
clients, and the struggle. And as a transitioning member, when you hit those lows, writing a contract, it doesn't really matter if I don't have clients.
Sure.
I'm just sitting here, depressed and down, and this was a horrible idea. I should have stayed in.
Yeah.
But being able to pick up the phone and having somebody who's been down that road and can have that one-on-one with you and just explain, like, yeah, dude, it does suck, but we're going to keep hitting these phones. We're going to keep, doing what we're doing. And I promise you in time it's going to come. And then when it does come, it's completely 180.
100%. Like something we can all relate to as well as I know at that, when we're in boot camp, basic training, what have you, we've all at one point questioned, like, man,
Yeah.
what am I doing here? Like, why did I do this? And then you learn how to power through, but you do rely on one another. Having that dynamic of teamwork, I think is critical because through boots to suits, there are times, it's a lot of the material might be foreign to a lot of the participants and they're going to be like, oh man, I don't know if this is for me. A lot of it's legalese, a lot of legal terms or what have you. But the fact that we're working in unison to accomplish that mission and make them successful together, I think is a huge, huge part of what this program entails.
I think one of the biggest things of the program is like what he said, you're able to pick up the phone, but that person on the other side of the phone walks your shoes. How many other industries or how many other businesses can say that? Like, I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I've been through your shoes, military and through real estate. Like, I know exactly what you're going through. Let's have a little chat. Let's see what we can do to make it better.
100%. And then some of the graduates from our pre-existing program, our debt program, they'll tell you, they'll call me, or reach out through text or email, at all hours of the night, and I want to make sure they're good to go. So talk a little bit about that. You started to allude to it a little bit in terms of that emotional side, the ups, the downs, the feast, the famine. How would you say the importance of being able to mitigate those issues and keep a consistent growth pattern, and if not only for the business, but also your emotionally personal side as well?
Honestly, the big thing is just that brotherhood, that support, having somebody there, because you go through those where you don't have clients, but then on the flip side, you also hit those times where you have anniversaries, and I don't give a crap about these phones. So you got 2 negative factors sometimes that are affecting my life, but hitting him up, hey, you haven't seen me on social media in a couple of days, what's up? And you're like, I know why you haven't seen me, because I've been, you know, and then it's like, damn, he hit me up. Like, I got to get back on these phones.
Absolutely, man.
Guess what? I got to go do what I did in the military. I got to go look in the mirror and I got to readjust because that's not going to change certain things. But without that key person in your life or, you know, those team members, what's going to keep me from just continuing to go down that hole and stop that?
Yeah.
Nothing. But now I have that because I have somebody who's checking on me constantly. So for me, that's been a big thing, is just that support.
Yeah, that buddy check, honestly, that dynamic, one, it never expires. Like to this day, I'm checking in with, you know, some of the Marines that I serve with, and the ones in Puerto Rico, could be in Texas, could be anywhere, worldwide. Hey, how you doing, bro? Just checking to see what you're doing. You know, if I don't hear from them for a while, I know something's up. And sure enough, hey man, just, you know, like in Puerto Rico, they had that big hurricane. You know, he's living on generators. There's a trip, some of the stuff. And then personally, emotionally, you know, with the whole aspect of PTSD, just wanting to make sure that we continue to stay engaged and support one another is huge, is critical.
I mean, there's definitely ups and downs in this business. It's a hustle, so there's going to be times where you're super high and you have more clients than you can handle, and there's going to be times where you have no clients and no one will even talk to you on the phone.
Yeah.
But it goes back to how you were trained. It's push through, but now you have the brotherhood behind you or sisterhood to be able to help you get through what you're going through.
100%.
Because they've been through it. Every real estate, I don't care if you're the number one real estate agent in the US, they've gone through ups and downs.
100%.
And they go through ups and downs every single year.
Yeah.
And it's about staying positive, knowing that everything's going to turn out okay, and you being able to do everything that you want to do with your family, because that's the biggest thing too. Like, yeah, you're going through a downtime in your business, but like, you're still your own boss and you can do anything you want to do with your kids.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we always say winter doesn't last forever. Everybody's going to hit a winter, right? It's going to be cold.
Yep.
You'll be struggling for food and resources, but at some point, that sunshine is going to come right back out. But you both hit a critical point. Is it that brotherhood, that sisterhood, what have you? That right there is critical. Just having each other's back and making sure. Now, for us, again, initially didn't have a lot of that because there weren't as many veterans that I could relate to back in the day. Plus, I was dealing with my own stuff as well. But, you know, as we continue to grow and evolve the company, and obviously what is now the Boost the Suits program, man, it's been so much better, so much more efficient. You know, there's more veterans and military personnel involved now where I can relate. We can joke around, like you said, we have the fun moments. But then we also, you know, when you hit those, when the stuff hits the fan, you still have that opportunity to help each other power through. Sometimes I need a chin check. You know, sometimes complacency sets in, whether it's physically in terms of your physical fitness or your business or family. Sometimes we're spending too much time working where, you know, I might say, hey, when's the last time you had dinner with your wife? You know what? I got you a gift card, man. Go take your wife out to dinner, bro. It's on me, man. I was just thinking about you. That stuff goes a long way. It's not just us to clients, it's us to one another as colleagues, as friends, and as brothers and sisters that served. So we have, like you said, we're the only one that I've seen that has that whole dynamic, that 360-degree dynamic. And I'm really excited about it. Really am. No doubt.